New York State is trying to crack down on a rising crime issue that we've seen all across the country and certainly here at home. A spike in thieves stealing catalytic converters off of cars and then selling them to try to make some money. This crime is often targeted at auto dealerships, and it can cost a lot of money, thousands of dollars, to replace and repair the damage to the cars from which they're stolen. Nationwide, the number of reports to insurance of those thefts was 12 times higher last year compared to 2018, and the increase has continued into this year. Today, Governor Kathy Hochul announced new steps to try to fight back against this crime, including signing a bill that would require vehicle dismantlers to keep records of all the converters they receive, and also require dealerships to have converter etching kits to put unique serial numbers on them.
This is a serious problem. No one should have to worry about this. This is an enormous cost for families. They don't need the stress. They don't need the worry. You shouldn't have to go to bed at night wondering if someone's stealing this valuable commodity out of your own driveway, because people deserve to be safe, whether they're in their own home, streets, trains, subways, wherever they are. So we believe that the measures we're talking about today will go a long way toward addressing the thefts.
And joining us live now is Paul Stasiak, president of the Niagara Frontier Auto Dealership Association. Paul, it's great to have you back on the show. I know we talked about this a few months ago as this problem was really coming to light. Again, sometimes it happens in someone's driveway or right outside the house. Oftentimes, though, it happens at these auto dealerships. And so I want to ask you, when you look at what the governor, the bill that she signed into law today and these other measures, how much of a difference do you think this can make?
Michael, thanks. Thanks for following up, quite honestly. We think it's going to have some positive effect. Obviously, it's going to take time for the public to embrace it, the salvage yards to implement. But most importantly, it's a step in the right direction. This is not something new. It's been going on for years. It's accelerated long beyond the dealerships. It's now in everyone's home driveway, schools, businesses, places like Feedmore. The criminals have no boundaries.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, some of the stories that we've seen, especially recently, just the lengths that people are going to and the damage that they're leaving behind. The governor also today announced state police coordination with local police agencies across the state and $20 million to invest in communities to buy technology, things like surveillance cameras, license plate readers. Based on your experience with the police effort right now, and obviously you want to prevent something like this from happening, right? But after it happens, you hope that you can go after the people who are doing it. Is this something right now that gets reported and there's not a whole lot of police follow-up in your estimation, or does it seem like police agencies are really trying to go after this?
In fairness to the police agencies, they had no way of tracking a catalytic converter until this new process will come in place. Now what the governor is offering and asking us to abide by, and I mean us, the new car franchise dealers, is a consumer can get something acid-base etched on his catalytic converter. So if it is robbed and broken, at the scrapyard, they have to detect that, monitor it, log it, and capture data. So that's going to help our law enforcement considerably. We work very closely with all the agencies, and I think they were as frustrated as our dealers were. So this is a small tool and a small step in the right direction, but any kind of deterrent's a good deterrent.
Yeah, I wondered, Paul, as I was reading this today, this does kind of put the onus on these new car auto dealers, right, to put the etchings so that they can identify these catalytic converters if and when they're stolen. That is something, though, that is welcomed by the dealerships. And then also I wonder, what do you think is the next step? What are we missing here that can also help fight this?
Michael, let me be honest. The dealers are going to embrace this because obviously they're going to do it for the vehicles in their own lot because it's very expensive. Some cars have 2 catalytic converters. It could be up to $6,000 to replace something that's got $300,000 or $300 of precious metals. So our industry, our dealers have always been proactive in the deterrent. We have to encourage the public now to secure these kits from the dealers. The dealers will install them. If the public, wants to put those on their own vehicles now, that'll be the next step. But this is transition. So probably looking back over the years till the catalytic came in 1978, I think, took a long time for that to be an acceptable practice. So please be patient with our dealers as they try to get these kits in. Remember, it was announced today, they do not have the kits yet. They're going to start ordering them, but they will do everything within their power to facilitate that. our suggestion will be when you bring your car in for inspection, set up that appointment or tire rotation, give us time in advance, and the dealers will do everything they can to make sure that kit's available and the time to install it.
Yeah, it seems like it's a small price to pay, right, when you talk about the dollar figure of the damage that's left behind when somebody steals one of these things. I wonder, and again, this is something that's happening right outside people's homes, but it's also happening a lot at the dealerships. How are your members approaching this beyond what we're talking about today? I mean, I know that you've mentioned in the past how important it is that they have good surveillance cameras and try to capture this stuff. I mean, I know this is not a new problem at the dealerships. Mike,
that's a terrific question. Many of our dealers have gone to 24/7 surveillance, or when I'll say midnight to 7 surveillance. So if a person drives in their lot at night, be prepared to get pulled over. Many of them have their own security teams off duty, not in addition to surveillance cameras. So it's that big of a nuisance. And it's not just the money, Michael, for the consumer and the dealers. Trying to get a replacement catalytic converter with the supply shortage is nearly impossible. So it's not just the $2,000-3,000. Just picture yourself being out of a car for 3-4 weeks, potentially, to get a new converter. A dealer wants to sell his vehicles, not sit on that for 3, 4, 5 weeks till they get a replacement converter. So the dealers are aggressive in trying to stop this effort. We hope the public embraces it with the same passion.
Yes, certainly at least a first step being announced today. We'll see how this kind of all plays out. In just the 30 seconds I have left, Paul, you mentioned the supply chain issues in replacing or in fixing cars that have these stolen from them. What about the etching kits? I mean, do we have any idea right now how available those are? And are we going to get in supply chain problems kind of getting those in as well?
Well,
we'll see.
You know, Mike, you're asking me to pick the winner of the Super Bowl, and I hope it's the Bills. But, we've reached out to a few suppliers. I don't think anybody, we've been preparing for this day for a while, trying to secure materials for our dealers. It's a matter of they're not made in New York State, so they've got to be brought in. So it'll take a little time. So we ask the public to be patient and trust me, the minute they hit the ground, the NFADA and all the associations will be dispensing it to our members as expeditiously as possible.
Paul Stasiak is president of the Niagara Frontier Auto Dealership Association. Thanks for helping us better understand this announcement today, Paul. Good to see you.
Mike, thanks for bringing it to the public's attention. You did a great job.
You bet. Thank you very much.